Gold discovery in New South Wales and Victoria had a marked effect on migration to both colonies. Again, it must be said that without the gold discovery, population of both colonies within an infant Australia would not have grown as fast as they did without the discovery of gold. Now, while the population roughly doubled between 1840 and 1850, it trebled in size from 1850 to 1860. I'm Michael Beashall, Australian historical fiction writer here again, and we're now looking at how the population increased from the discovery of gold in 1851 for the next roughly 10 years. According to the Sydney Morning Herald again, by the end of July 1851, 1,500 to 2,000 people had come from other colonies to try their luck. And in the next years, more people would have got out of England and Canada and Italy and Ireland after reading about the massive finds and discoveries in New South Wales and Victoria. Now, an interesting note here was that the English government foresaw that the discovery of gold did not sit well with the process of transporting convicts and criminals to the colonies. Just think about that. The government in England did not see any sense in sending convicts to New South Wales or Victoria for them to canter off to the goldfields and try their luck and find their fortune. That didn't sit well. You're giving a criminal a free gift, if you like. So transportation, even though officially ending before 1850 and before the period we're talking about, now, because of the gold discovery, it started to wind down to virtually nothing. And it was not only the Caucasian people who came flooding to the goldfields, it was also the Chinese. Now, one of the reasons for that was that in the late 1840s, there was a business crisis affecting the tea trade in a province of China. This was exacerbated by inflation, riots over rice and droughts affecting the country at the time. Now, those disenchanted Chinese and affected badly by these saw the headlines translated before their eyes of the fabulous gold in New South Wales and Victoria, just ready to be picked up off the ground, and made their way to our shores. By the middle of 1854, only 3 years after gold was discovered, there were 4,000 Chinese on the Australian goldfields. Now, like everything which is unusual for people in mixed races, there was an immediate rejection in the goldfields of Bendigo to throw out these new immigrants. In a foretaste of what was to come over the next 100 years in Australia and elsewhere in Western countries. But when the authorities requested, give us the reasons, you diggers, you white diggers, give us a reason why you're so against the Chinese. And the only reply was, and I quote, the Chinese lower the price of wages and render the diggings less productive, unquote. Like many things that are new and to many people not understood, then fear flourishes and there was an antagonism to the Chinese. Their peculiarities of their language, dress and habits of life were enough to arouse suspicion, one person said. But to give them their due, the Chinese tried very hard to assimilate, even punishing their own people who were found to transgress against the European culture and values. Thieves were fined and beaten with 30 stripes of the rattan. And as the Europeans were basically fairly clean, there was to be no piles of rubbish or detritus or filth laid around. So they tried their best. Henry Parkes in July 1854, and we'll talk about him later, he moved in the Legislative Council of New South Wales that the introduction of a coloured or inferior race would be fraught with consequences clearly to be deplored. Now, you listen and watch this stuff now, and it's pretty abhorrent stuff to us now in the 21st century and even the latter part of the last century. Just not right, not on. Italians came and Irishmen came to the goldfields, lured by that glow of the yellow metal. So, the rapid influx of so many people from overseas, from Europe, from the Americas and from Asia, and the families that they had in the generations to come for the next, created a rapid and a massive population for the colonies of New South Wales. In the next two videos, we'll look at the effect the gold rushes had on the economy and society as a whole. All interesting and wonderful stuff of this early Victorian period. It's Michael Beashall signing off for now. Thank you for watching.